What's up, everyone? It's Team Braconi, Steve Braconi here, and I'm super excited today to have Dante Muschamp on with us. He's a good friend of mine. He's a professional jiu-jitsu fighter, and he fights out of Essential Jiu-Jitsu under JT Torres. He's a black belt. So many accolades here I'll read off in a moment, but he also teaches at the school. He's been instrumental in my growth, and welcome, Dante.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Absolutely. So coming through the ranks, there's so many here. I'm going to read them off real quick, but you've kind of made a name for yourself at a very young age, and we'll kind of get into when you started training and what facilitated that and in the growth and really the positive mental attitude you've had,
right,
and influenced so many people that I've seen already, children and adults. But first off, no gi world champion at a blue belt level. For those that don't know, it's basically white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt.
Right.
You were a world champ at the blue belt. Then you got no gi Pan American champion also at blue belt. And you got no gi Pan American bronze medalist at the purple brown belt level, Pan American bronze medalist at purple, European bronze medalist at blue, and a 3-time Asian Open medalist at blue and purple belt. I mean, extraordinary.
Jesus.
coming through
I
the
think
ranks.
the podcast is over now. It took a long time
to make a name for yourself. You've got multiple sponsors now. I think one might be Monkey Tape, and another's Tatami.
Right. Yep.
So I guess start off with kind of what led you on this journey. How did you start, and who introduced you to the sport, to the art, and where you're intending on going with this?
Well, so just in my off season of soccer when I was younger, I think 11. My mom and I were walking by the first gym that I started at, and my old instructors at the time were standing outside, and it was a week before the grand opening. They said, come in next week and try it out. And so, in my off season, I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. And I went in and I loved it from day one. It became just my routine. After a while, it was just go to school, and the gym was so close. You walk to the gym and train, and that was it. Ever since was just it became routine and a part of my day-to-day. So but yeah, ever since then, and then that's led me to training at Essential and teaching. And so my goal is to not only continue to win, now as a black belt, but continuing to make a name for myself, and of course open my own space in the future for sure.
That's awesome. I've known you for, I guess, about 3 years,
right?
But just to see you grow, not only as a person, but as a jiu-jitsu player, fighter, it's been amazing. I mean, you've always been so humble and great to train with, but you're on such a trajectory that it's not going to, I'm not going to keep up, but it's your job and you're a pro. And so what keeps you going? What facilitates that drive? And what is Alfredo had a great question that we were talking outside, but how does your day look? Because I'm going to tie this all in with real estate, of course.
Right.
And you have been someone that I admire with your positive energy, your attitude, your fortitude, consistency, persistence, everything that I think it takes to be successful in life. So real estate certainly follows that.
Sure.
Fighting certainly follows that.
Right.
And being a successful person in general, I believe follows the same path. So what keeps you driven through day to day? Because I see you, see, I'll come in sporadically. So sometimes I'll come in the morning, I see you there, oftentimes training. Then I'll see you later in the afternoon training and teaching. Then I'll see you training later after you've already trained the comp class, in the advanced class. So well, so I get up early. It depends on the day, but I'm always at the gym before 10. When I'm there, I'm either training maybe like a private lesson or something like that. Afterwards, then I'll train in the comp class. Then I have a bit of downtime throughout the day, and I'll usually weight lift in that time, do my strength and conditioning, and then from there teaching the kids class. After the kids class, then helping out with the adults, and then once that's over, training again at night. So it's usually 2 times training, 1 time lifting, but always at the gym throughout the day. But yeah, it's definitely it's your body gets used to it. Definitely is tough at first, and of course it's mentally exhausting, physically draining as well. But
as long as you're keeping a solid balance of rest and eating right and doing everything, it sort of comes together, and that becomes your norm.
Yeah, and there's no question that anyone's ever trained with you knows you have a natural ability, which is kind of what helped your trajectory. But
sure,
there's no secret that you outwork people, right? So you work harder,
right?
You work out more often, you train harder, you try and pick the hardest training partners to train with. You don't shy away from people,
right?
You eat right, and you do that at a very young age, where a lot of people don't have that drive. So the question I would have is how is training jiu-jitsu and living that lifestyle better prepared you mentally for life as you go through? Because I keep reminding myself how young you are, not to be in the spot, but
right.
You have an older demeanor, you have maturity to you. Do you think you relate that to some of jiu-jitsu, or is that just who you are, or is it both?
Well, first, I appreciate it. Thank you. I definitely would attribute it to just being around older people. I like from a very young age, when I was maybe 13, 14, I was already training with adults. I was in the adult class full time. So it's like all my friends were significantly older than I was. So it's like catering to that group and that the people around me at that age, it's just like that always was I was drawn to it. I never I of course like to hang out with people my age, but especially in school and coming up in that time, I wasn't really interested in the same things. I didn't want to go and hang out with anyone after school. It's like I wanted to go and train, and I wanted to just sort of do my own thing, because that's just the environment I felt comfortable in. So I guess I can definitely attribute a bit of that mentality and that maturity from a young age, just coming without really trying. It's just sort of the environment that I was enveloped in, and that definitely helped.
Makes sense. It was your surroundings.
Right.
Sounds like.
Right. And what was the other part of the question?
I think that was the other thing I was going to mention was you compete on such a high level that
sure
there's no one that's going to win everything. It just doesn't happen, especially in the fight game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for my children, that I have the club and I teach at my house for free with the kids and do that to give back. And even when they're not competing, my kids have competed, but when they're not competing, there's a clear winner and loser typically, which is just sometimes you're kind of having an equal role, but more times than not, you either get tapped, which means you gave up, or things happen.
Right.
But I think that's good for them because especially now, even more so than when I was a child, what I'm seeing around them is almost everyone's a winner, but that doesn't sometimes prepare you the best for life.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that's really important that they understand hard work works. Exactly. The more that they put in, the more they'll get out, and you're not going to win everything, but you can learn from that and you can better. So with that said, and I've read off your accolades, it's unbelievable how much you have won, but at times where you either haven't performed as well as you wanted to, or didn't win something, how did that affect your mentality? Because I see that you're so strong and so positive. Is that attributed to the competition a bit?
Definitely. There were times where I've taken my fair share of losses, and a lot of which I can say for me wasn't the effort I was putting in, the work output, but definitely my mind. That was sort of the last piece, and even still now that I'm still trying to mend together, it's just that knowing, of course you're gonna have doubt, of course you're gonna have a part of your brain that's like, are you ready? Even knowing that you put in countless hours of work, it's like there's a part of you that's going to be like, questioning yourself, and that's normal. So it's just sort of getting or pushing through that and being able to tell yourself and sort of silence that part of your that negativity, and reassuring yourself that the work you've put in is enough to overcome anything, and to eventually say, if you a great example, like there are people I've lost against, right, multiple times, and then you're going to see the same people over and over, right? There's no running away from that challenge, you know what I mean? And so it's like you then tell yourself, and that's a great reoccurring factor, and then you eventually are able to win, and then it's just a physical representation of that hard work and that sort of mindset then coming out and showing in in a match.
Clearly taking away the physical aspect, there's a lot of parallels to real estate with that, where Alfredo can say how tough it is starting out.
Right.
Just like the mats. When you first go on the mats, you're intimidated. At least I was.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't realize what someone that's trained is able to do to you. It's effortless.
Yeah.
And sometimes still can do to me. But
sure.
But with real estate, when we go on an appointment and we try to get a seller to list their home with us to sell the home, we either get the listing or we don't, which kind of circles back to why I like jiu-jitsu for my children. Is they either clearly know in their head that they've just won
or not,
or they learned, right? And we say learned, they lost, right? But in the competition, like with listings, your hand gets raised or you don't. You get this paperwork signed or you don't. So you have the ability to, even when myself, if I don't get every listing, I wish I did. It's just not the way it goes. And sometimes, we go in where we have no shot. They're using us for a number. There's a multitude of reasons.
Right.
But I have the fortitude and positivity to keep pushing forward, knowing, like, that I have the skill set and I put the time and work in to attribute to success over the course of time.
Definitely. Definitely.
Well, that kind of goes to the question I was formulating earlier is, those matches are 10 minutes.
Right.
How do you prepare yourself every day to do all the training, the proper eating? You do mix in the teaching, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's always the outlook of this is, we actually get more wins than something like possibly you do, because we get a listing and throughout the year it's multiple.
Yeah,
we have more losses too.
We probably have more losses.
There's a lot of interactions.
Yeah.
So how do you stay focused? You did touch upon here and there, but I'm really curious as to that drive, that inner drive that makes you do everything you have to do for maybe, I don't know the this is out of my element. I don't know the frequency of the matches.
Yeah,
he just went to Atlanta with, your hamstring wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
You went, and the team didn't go for the most part. I think you went pretty much alone. You knew people there because the industry, you're very well known. But you went there, you competed, you actually won silver in your black belt debut, which congratulations is unreal. It's unbelievable. But you made your statement.
Yeah.
But Alfredo's point is well taken. There's a question. How do you continue to just keep pushing forward day after day after day? Because it's a tough, not only physically, but mentally draining.
Absolutely. No, for sure. So I guess for me, what it really is just like, wanting to achieve the level of greatness, and you look at athletes in any other sport, right? The greats, the Olympians, right? So it's striving to reach a level of that sort of caliber, but in my own world here, or in jiu-jitsu, right? So much smaller, much more not as well known to the world, of course, but
which is good and bad. I'm gonna say the good in a second that I get out of it.
Right. So what keeps me going is that goal, working towards that goal, right? And it's seeing, over the years, countless people achieve that same goal that I, set out for myself, and knowing that it's possible, right? And that just separates you from everybody else. You once you achieve that, you're now in a place where everything sort of comes together, and it's just it's something that I strive for and something that I'm going to continue to work for until I achieve it. But
the difference is, and I mean this with the most respect, you do that.
Right.
People say that and they don't do it. They don't do it.
Right.
You are talking about this, but the reason why you're on today is because I see you do it and I admire it. At any age, never mind your age, you just keep pushing through.
Right.
And win or lose, good or bad, you're just continuing to go up that.
Yeah, it's the constant evolution of myself, and continuing to better myself as a person, and continuing to just be the best version of myself. Really, that's all it is. And taking everything into consideration, all the training, all the countless hours spent on the mats, the physical and mental preparation that it takes. It's just elevating you, it's bringing you to that next level, and so that is very much, you're able to carry that over into every part of your life.
One of the great things that I feel, because it's not quite mainstream yet, and it will be, right? And I think it probably will be before your career is even peaked. It's really growing.
Sure.
But I have the ability to do my job and be with my family and train at night,
right,
with you, with professionals that are top level. You can't do that in any other sport. Basketball, you're going to go play with LeBron James or whoever might, it's not going to happen. But in this sport, everyone respects everyone. And if you attend the advanced class and essential, for example, there's a handful of professionals in there every class, which is crazy. And you guys give me the time to train with you.
No, it's awesome. It's definitely, it's really cool that we have that and the ability to sort of, it being so small that you can just sort of reach out almost to pretty much everyone or anyone and go and train where they are and visit and see how they run things. And, you don't get that opportunity. Just like you said, it's definitely very rare in other sports to have that ability and that privilege to be able to go and experience a different gym, different, tempo and different environment,
which is totally different in my experience. And Alfredo, you can touch on this if you want, but in real estate, in real estate, when I started, I came from a venture capital firm where everyone was kind of helping each other and we all worked together as a unit. And we had each other's backs. And then I came to real estate and it's like, everyone's trying to take my clients. Like, I can't trust anyone here. We have a small nucleus, which is my team, 20 people, 25 people, whatever it is at the time. And that we can trust those people. But beyond that, it's not like this community is super tight knit. And there's nuances like anything else and people that don't get along. But for the most part, there's a respect across the board and a welcoming feeling of, hey, come to my school and no one's going to hurt anyone. And
there's no bad blood or ill intention. Everyone wants to go and train and get good looks and because it ultimately makes everybody better. That's the really cool thing about it. And I feel like that is really how it should be. Everywhere else is like, technically, we can all learn from each other, in every aspect. And so if that was carried over into different, walks of life, different jobs, like I think it would benefit everybody.
Going back to your mental strength, because obviously you're physically strong. I can attest to that. So can anyone that's rolled with you. But mental strength, do you feel as though there's been a parallel that's brought your mental strength off the mats as well? In other words, the training that you've done and what you've had to push yourself through. People don't realize when someone's on top of you, even if they're not submitting you, getting you in a position that it's going to make you tap, it's smothering. And if you can't get so to have the mental ability to be comfortable in very uncomfortable positions is something that takes some time to get used to. And there's levels of that,
Definitely.
So your level of that is extreme, obviously, but has that carried over in other aspects of your life? And if so, do you have any examples of how that might have pushed you through other things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that literal smothering feeling, can be brought about and can come into your life in a lot of different ways, and you can feel as such and feel that same sort of like suffocating feeling without literally having somebody over top of you, And so I definitely think that it has played a big part and in getting me through some really tough times, whether it was family issues, just having to sort of extend myself to make what I have now a reality, like say if I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go and work a job, for however long, and then be able to train at night, just to supplement, it definitely, I didn't really think twice about it because I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And it's like, okay, I've been through this before and I've been through this in so many different ways. Like, this is not going to break me down. This is not going to stop me. Why would I let that stop me? If, this is my own goal, this is where I know that I can reach. Like, I'm not going to let anything get in my way,
Awesome.
So it's definitely, it's quite literally carried over. And that same suffocating feeling, if you can be calm in a situation like that, there isn't anything that's going to phase you.
When I came over to the school that you're affiliated with, that you're a teacher at, that you're a black belt under, it was such a wake up call, because there's levels of schools, and it was such a high level school that it took some adjusting. It took me 3 or 4 months to even get adjusted to that pace, right? But from day one, you treat everyone, but you treated me with respect and dignity and positivity. Whereas some people, and it's fine, but it takes some time to warm up. They maybe want, and I don't blame them. They want to see you don't want to quit or whatever it might be. But what makes you that person that from day one, I guess I would imagine, I'd have to believe until someone gives you a reason not to be nice, although I haven't seen you not be nice to anyone.
Right.
But
right.
what in your personality clicks and you're just generally nice to people? Because that's a rare human trait in my experience, where even the people that are nice, probably myself included to a certain degree, I have to get that. You have to earn that a little bit, you know, because I've been burned so many times. But I feel like with you, it was just happy. Hello, good to see you.
Right,
you know, like just really outgoing and friendly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess that's just always how I've been. You know, it's like I genuinely love to meet new people and to, you know, because I don't have any pre-existing connotations about anybody. It's like you know, when I see you, it's just it's a clean slate, clear slate, and I want to welcome you with the energy that I know I can provide, I can give. And that's just, you know, naturally it doesn't take any effort from me. You know, if anything, it takes more effort for me to be upset or to be
it's
angry.
Amazing you look at it that way, but most people aren't that way. And when we train, we have everyone from people who have been in trouble, you know, with the law, to police officers, finance, real estate. I've never heard you, I can honestly say I've never heard you say anything negative about anyone at any time. Whereas in that group, you do get people, and it's kind of like, you know,
of course.
But you're one of those people that stays away from it, stays clear of it, remains positive, and that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. Is that not only carries over on the mats, but it's throughout your life. You're at my house eating dinner. It's just like a pleasure to be around someone that you just feel better. It's one of those things you feel better about being around.
Right. And I definitely have had my fair share of like being surrounded by, you know, not the most like-minded people, you know, always negative, always something wrong, always, you know, and that's so draining to be around, you know, and it's just something that I, you know, try to steer clear of, and in my own experience and me as a person help to sort of just avoid that at all costs.
We've had to remove people from the team, unfortunately, who I thought some were reasonably good agents producing, but they just didn't treat people the way that we wanted to have our name on it.
You know? No, of course. And so it's just like, I definitely, you know, as much as I can, will avoid it, and, you know, just want to bring nothing but positivity to the table in whatever aspect that is, whatever, if it's just a friendship, like I like to keep everything as simple as possible. You know, I want it to be just very, very clear cut, and, you know, what you see is what you get. There's nothing behind, there's nothing, you know, whatever's portrayed and given to you, like that's what it is.
100%.
You know,
you treated me the same way before you knew where I came from, what I did, what I had, who I was.
Right.
So it just was you didn't expect anything back in return.
No,
right?
Not
you
at
just
all.
Did it because you did it. When agents come to us, Alfredo we've mapped this whole protocol out, training program, schedule, so that agents know what we expect and what they can expect for the path of success. We've mapped it out. I kind of went through it myself. Alfredo's done it on a very high level now, and we have several agents that have it's proven successful. So we kind of have this track record to success. Especially a child, but that's what I kind of want to get into, because there are parallels there. When a child or someone that you're teaching jiu-jitsu steps on the mats for the first time, what advice would you provide them? Because it's like real estate, is such a huge learning curve, and before you see any level of success, even if that's getting in a position that you would feel more comfortable in, it's a while. It's not something that happens in a day or two.
Right. Get your ass kicked a little bit around. First.
No, 100% for sure. It's you know, I guess some advice that I would give is just to, you know, not to be so hard on yourself, you know, in the initial learning stages of it, just to enjoy it and take all that you can get, you know, from whoever, whether it's the head instructor, whether it's, you know, it doesn't matter. You can learn from anyone. So just to sort of enjoy the process, and soon, this is what I always say is like, for people that come to me and they're unclear about, oh, what I like to do, I don't know what techniques I like to use, I don't know, you know, I see that other people have it so grasp it so quickly, but it's just like, you know, there's going to be a day where it's just going to click, and you're going to find a set of things that you like to do and things that are going to work for you. So like anything, it's just being patient, enjoying the process, and eventually you're going to find a method that works for you and a way about, you know, going about it there.
100%. And it's very similar to real estate in my experience, because I've done both, where you can't start real estate and get to the level of success that our teams had in a very short period of time.
Right.
It takes time to farm and build those relationships and facilitate transactions and get better and better. No different than jiu-jitsu. You're not going to typically have someone that comes in and 3 months later, for example, is going to be able to roll around with you and expect to do a bunch of anything. It's not going to happen.
It's also probably overwhelming because, again, I'm out of my element. I'll just be honest. But I do see here and there and watch. And what I do notice is a lot of the moves are learned. You know, I have to put my hand here, put my foot there. Those are just much like football or, any sport, you have set plays. And so I think it could be overwhelming for a new person. And I guess that's what you were saying earlier, which is great commentary.
It's like, infinite. It's infinite.
Yeah,
the positions
and really is
the chronological order of things. I've never had a 5-minute roll set, which is sparring, but I've never had the same thing happen ever.
Never. That's why it's so cool and ever evolving, and why the sport will continue to get better and tougher in the level of competition and everything. Gyms as a whole will get better, the level of instruction, just because it's just like you said, there's never going to be the same 5 minutes. There's never going to be the same 2 minutes. It doesn't matter what it is. It's always going to change. It's always going to be something different, force you to then learn something new or create something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me with real estate, and Alfredo knows some of this, when I came from the venture capital firm and I jumped into real estate, part of my driving force or ability to push through things was my extreme fear of failing. Right. So that was me. I didn't really have a safety net. I didn't have money saved. I didn't go to Harvard and wasn't going to work for Goldman Sachs or something, so, that's not what I want to do. I wanted to work for myself and I wanted to sell real estate, but there really wasn't a plan B for me. And that's kind of what shaped me into being able to be ranked top 0.1% in the country, top 1,000 agents. And we have the best team of America now award. And we've gotten these various awards. But it was more so because I was like, I don't have a plan. Like, I got to make this work. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make this work. And I talked not too long about one of the agents said, I'm doing everything possible. And we put that up and I meant that in the nicest way possible. But like, I never thought I was doing everything ever. I always thought there's something more I can do.
Of course.
Are there, long question, but are there examples that you can point to, and you might not have examples, that you feel shaped you or during this path elevated you to the next level? And again, going back to your positive energy, your ability to push through adversity. Are there examples within your life, even when you were younger or recently, that have helped shape you in that way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess I would say in like a competition aspect is like, you get so close to achieving something, and it's very easy to let something like that discourage you. And so I guess what I'm saying is like when you can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah. Is there anything that you could point to within your life, even when you were younger or more recently, that helped shape who you are to give you the ability to kind of climb this path, this mountain?
Definitely. I mean, it's like, so my parents, they both of my parents are from Belize. I was born here, but I lived there for several years and, spend a lot of time. I go back each year, but, seeing them come here, with nothing and building a decent life for themselves to be comfortable and, is always something that I took into consideration. So it's like, okay, I'm going to find what I love to do and I'm going to run with it. And so when I was introduced to jiu-jitsu, that's what I knew what I wanted to do. And seeing myself and knowing that I have the ability to achieve and make an impact in the sport, that was the driving force there. And, to take that and do everything that I possibly can to make this a reality, and I'm still not there yet, but I definitely know that, as long as I put the work in, this is what it's going to be. There is, like you said, there's no plan B. there isn't anything that I can see myself doing. This is what I want to do. This is what I know. This is what I know how to do.
And just so the audience knows, a parallel would be if I didn't sell at the level I sold at.
Yeah.
Not many people are going to listen to me.
Right.
I had to show that I could do it, and
Exactly.
I have a way that I facilitate this, and you structure it. Alfredo's been a godsend. He's my main guy, but he's come on and he's helped me structure it in that way.
Right.
So for you, if you get these accolades and continue to win at the highest level,
exactly.
now black belt, you open up a school, people are going to want to train them.
Exactly.
That's just how it is.
Right.
Would you say, so for me with real estate, I had tremendous support, both experience. My father's a realtor, developer as well, builder, but he was always behind me.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, of course, he helped me and, the mentorship and all that, but he also day to day supported the thought. There was times in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know, like I was making good money. This is crazy. I didn't know, like, there's nuances in New Jersey where deals can be killed by either party during what's called the attorney review process.
Right.
It's a very intricate thing that I wasn't familiar with. I didn't have the vendors in place, attorneys. I didn't know the other agents. I didn't have home inspectors lined up, lenders lined up. So that took time.
Right.
But I had the support system. We recently had an agent. He's still on the team. He's taken another part-time job to try to but he doesn't, in my opinion, have family support. He's a great guy. He's a young guy. I know he could do it. I told him, and I tell him, I'm honest with people. I say, so it's not cut out. It's not an industry that everyone makes it. Most people don't make it.
Right.
Probably 9 out of 10 if you had to estimate.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get to market, so to speak, to get your license. It's very difficult to make money in the market. Right. He's one of those people. I honestly believe if he put the effort in and had the time and had the support and encouragement, he could do it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that and that piece is removed, the doubts climb in, because again, like jiu-jitsu, there's no success immediately that I've ever seen. You might get lucky.
Yeah.
Of course, the harder you work, the luckier you get. But luck only goes so far.
Right.
It's going to be, as a major in statistics, it's going to be probability over time. Right?
Exactly.
Which your probability of winning a competition depends on your training regimen, your diet, your lifestyle. Did you get support from family, friends, loved ones to do this, to chase this dream, which now you're successful, right? But it wasn't always that way. You started at what age?
I was 11.
Wow.
I was 11.
Right. Which is so crazy. We didn't even know what it was when I was 11.
Yeah.
Have you always had support behind you with your family?
Definitely. I definitely had support. It took some time to really have them understand the level in which I was at. Right. And so, not saying anything, but, it's just like, it was just for fun. It was just a sport that I did. And it was like, okay, that's cool, but like, get another job, why don't you become a firefighter or something like that, something that I guess is a little more certain. And it was never something that like I wasn't really drawn to it. It's like, sure, that's cool. I respect everybody and their life choices. That's great. But I knew that wasn't really for me, any sort of thing like that. But I always had support. My mom, my dad, they helped me, start training and paid for a lot of my tournaments in the beginning. And, up until then, I took the initiative to say, okay, what can I do so that they don't have to do this anymore? So I can, can I clean the mats and do the laundry and do whatever I can so they don't have to pay for my tuition and, eventually then look to start competing with the tournaments they helped me with. And then I'm just like, well, I have to win. I have to start doing well in order to get these opportunities to maybe not have, so they don't have to pay for them anymore, just to sort of do it on my own and be independent in that regard.
It's very similar in that there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Both starting, to try to be a professional, but the odds are stacked.
He also did the things that we tell our agents to, like you're cleaning the mats. Well, you should be sending out letters.
Right.
You're,
the fundamental hard things.
Sure.
Yeah. You're doing those little things so that you could support your long-term goal.
Right.
And the same thing we kind of try to instill is like, those are not the fun things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm certain
but
that you didn't love cleaning those mats.
No, right.
But they were the necessary things to build that long-term.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. It's just, it all comes together, goes hand in hand.
wondering at a young age where that came from, because that's not what kids these days are.
Yeah.
You know?
Just, I guess I can attribute it and thank the people I had around me. That was really it. And like I said, I always would try to do anything in my power to make something happen. If there was a goal or that I set out for, I wasn't going to stop until I achieved it. Right. All right. I couldn't go to sleep at night content knowing that I didn't give my 100% best to then
I think I
work
heard
towards
that
that goal.
before.
Yeah, and I think that there's just so much parallels. That's why I wanted to have you on. I truly appreciate you coming.
Of course.
That I think, we go to lunch sometimes, and I always tell you, like, you have everything. You're going to be so successful at such a high level. It's just how quickly and which path you take. Right. With jiu-jitsu, it hasn't caught up yet, and it will soon. There should be, in my opinion, so much more money within the tournaments, so much more money within the sponsorships, because it's hard to find any sport that's growing the same. I went to ADCC to watch JT, and just the whole place is packed. Now they're going to do it in Mobile Arena or whatever next year, because it's just, in years ago, you couldn't even imagine that would never have
happened. It was in a gym.
So you just see that transition from its infancy to now, which still is doer, but so hopefully you hit that in stride. And if not, the transition obviously is going to be, you build a business a business based on your credentials, your accolades, your track record, and obviously you'll be extremely successful doing that. Anything else you wanted to add about yourself or kind of what you're looking to do? And we appreciate you coming on. Like I said, just your overall outlook is what we wanted to discuss, and I think we hit that. And I hope my agents watch this, and I hope other agents watch this, because they're doing both. There's just so many common aspects to the two.
Absolutely. And it's I feel like something that can tie into anything, whatever walk of life, whatever job, anything, and not just jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to speak on solely jiu-jitsu because this is what I do, and this is something that I know from experience that definitely makes a big difference. You get through a rigorous hour-long class. If you have an hour in your day to go out and do something like that, everything afterwards is easy. There's nothing that's going to challenge you the same way. There's nothing that's going to make you feel that same suffocation, right? Going 100%. Back to that, it's an intense feeling, and if it's something that you can create as your norm, there isn't anything that can phase you. That's why a lot of fighters you see are very calm in a lot of situations, right? Altercations, people get really intense, really hot-headed. It sort of mellows you out. You don't have a reason to, like what you were just showing me earlier.
Yeah,
you have such a confidence too. You have apps on a street level. You hear sometimes people say, well, you don't even know when I get mad. I've heard people say that, and like in my old school in New Jersey in the lobby, well, I don't train because I see red, and when I get mad, it's like, okay, it's no different than someone looking on Zillow or something and thinking that they're all of a sudden a complete expert on real estate. We've done 2,500 transactions. We might have a little bit more of an idea that
somewhat
right.
But it's no different, right? You spent thousands of hours with the best guys on earth training.
Right.
What's going to happen?
Exactly. And so it's just going back to that, it's just you don't ever find a need or want to instigate a situation like that, right? You just sort of want everything to going through, for example, what I go through on a day-to-day basis with the rigorous training and things like that. It's like I don't want anything like that outside. I have enough of that on the inside here. I have enough of that on my day-to-day, and that's bringing me towards a goal. So it's like to have something that can intervene with that.
You're not diverting.
No,
you're not going for that bait.
Right. There's no need.
No, and what's the win?
Yeah, there's
could be tempting though.
I mean, for some definitely. I can't speak for everybody, but it definitely can.
But
be.
In general, they may not be as positive and as well spoken as you, but that's the attitude. I know a lot of jiu-jitsu guys and some fighters, and the last thing they want to do, I have one of my friends who was a professional Muay Thai fighter. He would never want to fight anyone.
Right.
You just don't. I mean, there's nothing to gain.
Yeah, there's not.
You're
There's
gonna walk
nothing to
away,
gain.
right?
Yeah.
So until you can't walk away, and then it's
exactly. Then it's too late.
I've noticed that as well too, being from the outside of that world. Like, it seems like to me that those are most of those people, most of those guys or girls in some cases, they could probably kill anyone.
Yeah, right.
But they're so restrained in their reactions to
exactly.
They diffuse.
Yeah.
They avoid.
It's
just nothing to gain when you're trained like you are, or even like I am at this point.
100%.
There's no.
It's just the common ignorance of like with anything,
right.
It's just
that's my Zillow comment.
It's
people like, oh, well, I saw the Zestimate. Right. You don't want real comps.
Exactly.
You don't want an analysis.
Exactly.
It's a big asset.
Exactly.
You might want to be pretty accurate.
It's the initial reaction of somebody to say like, or like, I know best, and it's okay, but you don't, so it's I think going back to what I was saying earlier, it's definitely like you said, the parallels of what you feel afterwards and the way it can sort of help to shape your life, and it's not just that, it's exercise, it's eating better, it's all these different things that will ultimately help you and just create a more positive environment and lifestyle for yourself. And you're going to see that carry over, into all aspects, I think. And that's definitely something I firmly believe.
Listen, I appreciate you coming in.
Yes.
Of course.
It's always fun to hang out with you. I got extra time today. Amazing jiu-jitsu professional, but more than that, an amazing human. And so that's, we want to talk about not only your accolades and all you've done in the sport, and the best is yet to come. I have no doubt. I see you train.
Yeah.
But just you as a person, that's really what I think will be a huge driving force in your success. People are going to flock to you because of you, because of Dante, because of your positive attitude, because of the way you treat people. You can't fake that, and I've seen it for 3 years, almost every day.
Right.
So we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Do you have an Instagram or anything you want?
Yeah. At Dante BJJ, or Dante_BJJ. Definitely would like to give a shout out to my sponsors, to Tommy Fightwear, Monkey Tape, and Blind Barber. Some of the best people I've worked with, and they've been helping me for a long time now. So
we should look into sponsoring this guy.
Thanks for we should. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I learned a lot about that world that I'm not familiar with.
We got to get you in here now.
We do.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And then check out, at Team Braconi on Instagram, YouTube, our Team Braconi YouTube page,
100%,
as well as Facebook as well. Team Braconi.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Have a great day, everyone.